Hey there! Welcome to the Unwashed Asses, episode 49, recorded Thursday, April 12th, 2018. Oh, what's this? 2 episodes in 1 week? I'm actually staying true to my word? What? That's not right. I'm supposed to get one half-ass episode up and then disappear for 2 months, and then come back, apologize, rinse and repeat. Uh-oh. I don't know. We're going to go with it. It's working. maybe it is the 2 shorter half-hour episodes a week that make sure things get done. Also, the fact that I'm in a better mood. I don't know. Maybe it could be doing with my mental health. So, what were we going to talk about today? Oh, yeah. Sea of Thieves, Destiny, and Warcraft? Sure. We'll make it a very video game-centric episode. Warcraft, not too much. We did get the battle for Azeroth release date announced, and I don't remember what it is, so this is kind of a moot point. Taking a break, though. Not, we got the Priest, Paladin, and Death Knight all up to 110. Not really interested in progressing those too much. I mean, I've gone through, done Argus and all that. Working on the Void Elf, and still having a real hard time with vanilla content. It's a struggle, but I have tomorrow off, like literally my first day off in a while. So we'll see if we can get her pushed past 60 at least and get into some of the expansions, because I hear you can pretty easily get from 60 to 70 doing Hellfire Ramparts, and then get a good way into 70 plus by just doing Karazhan trash. So we'll see how well that plays out. I would like to have her to 110 before the expansion hits. Won't be my main, but I'd like to have a 4th character max level. But no. So I dipped my toes back in, and I was having oof, it's warm. Let's drop this down. Shoot it on my face like the slut I am. Why is it so... Like, I'm setting the fucking air to 62. Why is it still so warm?
Hello.
And you guys hear fucking text alerts because I didn't turn that off. Anywho, I've been tempted with the... Not even subtle, it's just kind of like, hey, I'm playing Jane. You have fun with me. Don't really do anything super special, but we've been together for a while. Destiny 2. I've been fighting it for weeks and weeks, because the problem with Destiny 2 was that unless you bought the expansion, Curse of Osiris, there's really no reason to go back and play the game, because you're locked out of a lot of the high level, or the end game content, like Heroic Strikes, Nightfall, even, what is it? Weekly PvP contest, or it's held on the weekends, that I've never fucking won a card on yet. You guys will let me know, because I can't think of it. Anywho, so I've been, and the expansion itself, it's $20 out the gate. Now you could get the season pass for $34, which gets you both the first 2 expansions, Curse of Osiris, and they just announced what the second one was. And because I'm terrible at this and did virtually no prep whatsoever, it involves war mines. We know that. We're probably going back to Mars. That's coming out in May 8th. That one's coming out. Saying a lot here because I can't find my thoughts. This isn't flowing right. But I've been wanting to play it and wasn't comfortable spending the $20 because from everybody I've heard that, one, both online, and then two, had actually bought the expansion, like, it's not worth $20. A lot of people were fairly upset when they had bought the season pass when the game released. Like, they got the deluxe edition, which included it, but it was a little more expensive. So I did not get the deluxe edition when I bought the game initially because I wasn't sure. Like, I remember House of Wolves and The Dark Below being kind of lackluster, and that's what I was hearing about Curse of Osiris. Well, I finally broke down and bought it. You know what? I've got a little extra money now. I'm sitting comfortably. I can decide to spend $20 on things like this without it breaking the bank. So I did it. I bought it and got into it. Got mixed feelings about it. I'm really happy to be playing Destiny again. I'm enjoying my time in there. But for an expansion, it's very lackluster. It's essentially just paying another $20 to keep playing the game you already had. And that is frustrating. You know, we'll give you some perspective here where it takes 2 hours to beat the campaign, or at least it did for me on my Titan. That's really, really short. That's awful. And the way the campaign is told is very lackluster. We get a new zone, Mercury, but the new zone itself is tiny and itty-bitty. But when you understand what it is, it makes sense from a lore perspective. But when you compare it to the other zones in the game, and the fact that you had to pay extra to get it, it hurts. It stings. I have no trust in Bungie whatsoever anymore, and this did not help that whatsoever. It's essentially, Mercury's been turned into a gigantic computer, a big old processor for the Vex to run endless simulations about the future because they can time travel and all that. And so you don't need to be able to explore the big planet because essentially there are portals that will take you into these simulations. Now, once you're in the simulation itself, it's fucking gorgeous. You know, it's this big, you're up in the sky, there's these technological pillars that are hanging that you go point to point, and it's all randomly generated. It's gorgeous. But it's the same over and over again. Despite the random layouts being generated, it's the same. It's the same concept. You're fighting, Hive, Vex, Cabal, and Fallen in areas that just look like the Vex areas. So you got a really pretty background, but that's about it. And sometimes you get to go onto the Mercury that was when it was a garden world. And that's pretty to look at, but that's few and far between. And again, there's no real exploration. You're stuck on this path. You can't ride your Sparrow except for one small segment. And overall, just really lackluster. You have Brother Vance, which he's just fucking annoying. The first game, he was kind of cool. He spoke cryptically. We didn't know really anything about Osiris. And turns out, Vance is just a fucking nut job. And like any other NPC, when you have to interact with them, if you stand next to them, they're just constantly spewing forth the same lines over and over again. Except his are a bit creepier because he is batshit insane. Level goes up from 20 to 25. I was able to hit that in 2.5 hours. Light level goes to a soft cap of 330, with 335 being hard cap right now. As of right now, I don't know what my best combination is, but I'm still I'm creeping up on 320. And this is the part that really irks me with Destiny 2 as a whole, is that you are stuck as far as progress is concerned with the weekly directives, I guess you'd call them. Or you have, complete 3 heroic strikes, complete the Nightfall, complete X number of Crucible matches, and you get, your powerful Ingram from those, and that's the way you progress that. You can't naturally, I'm going to run heroic strikes or the raid over and over again, and, inch up my light level. No, if you've done all those weekly activities, there's virtually no reason to keep playing that character. And that really sucks. That chaps my ass the most about Destiny 2 is without progression, I have no incentive to play. This was my biggest issue with Sea of Thieves. There's no sense of progression whatsoever. I don't feel like I'm actually accomplishing anything, so I don't get real enjoyment out of the game itself. Now, don't get me wrong, Destiny 2 is a whole hell of a lot of fun to play, but you're limited in your activities. PvP, you have the same cycle of maps. It's only a handful of game modes. And with the strikes, there's only a handful of those. And once you've run through them on both normal and heroic, there's not much incentive to keep doing it. Even the raid itself, you really only want to run it the once a week just to get the weekly bounty taken care of and the ones for the achievement. And this is why I was hesitant to go back to Destiny 2. Like, I'm enjoying it now because I have stuff to do. But once I run out of stuff to do, I'm going to stop enjoying the game again. It's that constantly, staying on a treadmill. Always looking for that next little bit. And this is where the philosophical design choices of Bungie vastly differ from the community itself. And I've been thriving off the salt in the subreddit for Destiny 2, and everybody, it's a constant non-stop barrage of here's how the game could get better, why isn't Bungie listening to us, why aren't they even talking back to us, what's going on, this game sucks, XYZ, yada yada yada. And I got trapped up in that for a very, very, very long time. When I quit playing, I would still check the subreddit just to see, is there something that's happened? Is it worthwhile for me coming back? And, this quality of life improvement, the sandbox update that they did a few weeks back, that's what really got me like, oh, maybe I should come back. Piqued my interest. And the concerns and complaints are legitimate. I share them. It's frustrating to see what Destiny could be versus what it is. But that's where I had the epiphany as far as I can enjoy the game for what it is and have a really good time while playing it, or I can make myself miserable by thinking and complaining about what could be and what isn't. And at the end of the day, it's a game. I shouldn't be getting myself so worked up about what a developer is or isn't doing, or why I disagree. And I understand that you got to be passionate about your hobbies and things you like and have a fervor for it. But when it gets to the point where you stop enjoying the thing you love the most because it's different from what you think it should be, so you just need to walk away. Take a break from it. Take a sabbatical. And that's kind of changed my perspective on games as a whole right now, in that I don't have to keep punishing myself and keep playing the same game over and over again if it's not fun, if I'm not getting anything out of it. It's okay to put it down and walk away. And that's ultimately what I had to do with Destiny 2, and that's what I will do again with it. Now, I'll probably keep playing through until May 8th when the next expansion hits. I'll probably get that because it'll be another dose of content, and then I could play that for another month or two. After that, if I've done everything I want to, if I've reached max light level and I have, fairly competent sets of gear, that's what I'm working on right now is getting a full set of Arc, Void, and Solar gear. If I've done all that, there's no reason for me to keep playing, and that's fine. As long as I think, let's be fair, $20 for dozens of hours worth of entertainment, despite it being a grind, that's fine. That's a good return on investment. I was bitching earlier in the week about the cost of movie tickets. And that's only hour and a half, 2 hours worth of entertainment. Whereas $20 for an expansion gets me a few dozen. That's pretty good ROI. So I can't be too upset about it. Video games are held to a different standard. It's an expensive hobby, but you're getting a lot more out of it. And so, again, if I spend $20 on an expansion, I get a few dozen hours, I really enjoy myself for a couple months where I can really throw myself into it, I shouldn't be upset that I've kind of achieved all that I can. While it does fall on the developer to continually be pushing out new content, not every game developer is Blizzard. I hold them to a very high standard because they've continually delivered. There is no end of what I can do in their games. Overwatch, there's always another skin to be earned. The gameplay is always compelling. Warcraft, I could play that game for the rest of my life and probably still not get everything that there is to get in that game. And that's the thing, they're constantly updating. I know there's content droughts where, 6 months before the new expansion releases, you run out of endgame stuff to do, but there's still so much else to do in the game as far as professions, PvP, exploring, doing old content, working up reps, collecting mounts and pets. There's just a plethora of things to do. And you don't have that in games like Destiny. Destiny is the quintessential walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, but it's a goose. Because that's what Bungie's decided. Nope. Look, it could be a fantastic MMO. It could be a fantastic FPS. It could be, all these other things. But this is what it is. And I need to stop looking at it with the glasses of, well, here's what it could be. And why isn't it this? I just need to accept it for what it is. If it gets to the point where Bungie just fucks it up so badly that I need to walk away from the game entirely, so be it. That's on them. That's up to them to keep me as a customer. But it's not up to me to try and single-handedly salvage a game series where the developer just isn't listening. And that's fine. That's fine. That's on me to realize now's where I walk away. There's all kinds of other games, I haven't touched the PS4 in a while, despite clamoring for that. Mostly because, I get home late at night and Bloodborne's super scary. But I also have Horizon Zero Dawn I can go through. I could go through the Viking mental illness game, Susuna's Wrath or something like that. Story, song, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. There's always something else to be doing, because there's always another developer that wants my money. I have an entire backlog of games on Steam that I've not even touched, thanks to Humble Bundle. So I don't need to sit there and torture myself with a game that's not trying to capture my time and attention. I'm not the type of person who can sit and, I had my former brother-in-law. He was just a god when it came to Call of Duty and Gears of War. But those were the only two games he played. And that's what you see when you get into the high level competition with Overwatch League, esports in general. That's the only goddamn game they play. And I can't do that because I get bored. I like to float around. So I'll have my mainstays like Warcraft and Destiny, but I don't have to play them every day. I don't have to, I pay, this is a great example. I pay $15 a month for WoW. And I'm upset about the cost of a Destiny expansion, but it tells you the difference in what's being provided to me as a consumer. I'll play WoW a few times a month because I know it's there. I know when I go in and I play, I'm gonna have a good time, except for this vanilla content. But if I'm not having fun doing that, there's always something else I can do in the game. And if I'm not, I'll go play a super action-y title like Nier Automata. There's always something else. And I think, it's good when you have a fandom, when you have people who are super behind your game and they want it to succeed. But it's okay to walk away from that, So, and that was my biggest issue, again, with Sea of Thieves, is that there just is no content. I I still am pretty chapped that I spent $60 on it, because it was supposed to be this game that, you know, my friends and I are going to play over and over again, and that's our go-to. Hasn't really happened. You know, one of them plays with his family. He gets a lot of enjoyment. Good for him. The other guy disappears. He only shows up on Fridays. I don't know what happens to him. So I'm sitting here with a $60 purchase that I don't like playing by myself. And to be honest, I'm not super inclined to go out of my way and find groups on Xbox Live to play with. Just, it's not there. It doesn't have what I'm looking for. You know, it's fun to roll around and sail every now and then, but ultimately I think it was a waste of money for me, because again, we don't have that progression. But rather than sit and yell at a developer, like, they got all kinds of Rare got tons of negative press and backlash because they delivered a subpar product. And let me see if I can pull it up here without the recording stopping. If it's still going to keep going, I think it will. Gmail. Ba, 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 ba. Okay. So yeah, Dan wrote in a couple weeks ago regarding Sea of Thieves and my rant on it. Saying here, I agree with much of your review. The game still has issues and bugs, no doubt. I do see them trying to improve it much this first week. I'd like to see more quest types and enemy types as well. I want to actually get on their forums with some ideas and see what happens. That being said, there's much I like about the game. One, every time I play the game, it is a different experience and leaves with unique stories to tell on who rated what. Random player interactions with randoms as well. Some people suck and just kill on sight. I expect these players will get bored sooner than later. Well, we will see. I've had quite a few positive interactions with randos. 3, my favorite part has to be being able to play with my entire family, and also various friends to experience each play session being so unique. Honestly, the social aspect of this is what is making it this most fun for me, I think. It's pretty to look at, easy for anyone to pick up. Even the 6-year-old can do things, and it's just been a fun, unique experience each time I've been on. And awesome. You know, that's super good that he's able to, you know, he's found so much enjoyment out of. You know, he's found, he's been able to shine that ball of shit. He's polished that turd. But not everything is for everyone. You know, I'm super into Destiny. Not a lot of people are because of their own reasons. I'm not into Sea of Thieves. Want to be, but you can't force it. You know, just like broccoli. Yeah, it's really good for you, but if you don't like it, why punish yourself with it? You know, find a substitute. And that's all that games are. They're substitutes. It's finding your own unique brand of fun, because ultimately we only have so much time on this earth. There's no greater meaning, so why not just enjoy yourself? You know, find somebody you love, make a few really good friends, play video games, watch movies. If you're a weirdo named Josh, when you buy your house, you know, build a forge and learn how to blacksmith, because yeah, whatever. Whatever makes you tick. And I don't know, like, I feel very happy-go-lucky, glasses half full, optimistic, but it's part of what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to be more positive, not be such a negative Nelly, such a, you know, somebody bitches constantly. I'm trying to, you know, get rid of that. And I don't know if it's just, you know, those daily affirmations where it is making this big of a difference, and I'm able to look at things differently and have this different view set. But it's working. I enjoy it. And right now I'm enjoying my time in Destiny 2. Oh, holy shit, you guys, it was amazing. So, I was playing this morning because we had the weekly reset, and since I work, my 15 hours today, I'm not going to have time to play it tonight. So, got on this morning, I took out the last 2 heroic strikes I needed to do, and then, you know what, let's see, I've got 45 minutes. Let's see if I can find a group to do the Nightfall with. We should be able to rock it out in 20, 25 minutes. So I've got enough buffer room in case we wipe. Now, I've not done Nightfall since they've been redesigned. There's no more timer. The modifiers are, it's not telling me what the modifiers are. So I looked it up online, oh yeah, it's this instance, it's this stuff. But, so it was supposed to be where your abilities recharge quickly. So I put on the Hollow Fire for my solar, and it wasn't recharging the way I thought it should be. So I'll have to look more into that. But so it's the new strike where, and this is something I kind of like, where you run through the strikes solo as you're playing through the campaign, and then when it comes time to run the strikes, you're like, oh, I've already done this. I know the gist of the mechanics. And so it's great for people that are just rolling into it. Because, again, I've not played a Nightfall in ages, but it just picked one that, I've already run this in another variation. It's going to have harder mechanics. Everything's going to hit harder and have more health, but I can work through that. So, go on looking for a group on Xbox, find a group, and we're running through it, and of course, Trials of the Nine. That's what that PvP event was. So, one guy has the emblem where he's got 24 fucking flawless trial cards, and another guy, he's close to hitting max light level, and I'm sitting at 315 with my current loadout. So, Nightfall only requires you to be a 270, but I'm already looking at myself, I'm gonna be the weak guy. And they're going to yell at me and XYZ. And one of them sends me a message, and he's talking about the guy on Trials, hey, he needs help here. Don't be afraid to run ahead. We'll need to work. And I'm like, did he mean to send that to the other guy? Did I get this by accident? Because clearly, I'm low man on totem pole here. So we're running through the strike, and I'm lagging behind, trying to kind of figure out how I want to play it, because again, everything's hitting me hard. I'm not max light level, so I need to play a little bit more carefully, and it just feels like I'm making them wait for me, and nobody's saying anything. It's fine. Well, we get to the final boss, and the mechanics for this fight kind of suck. I really hated running it during the campaign. Essentially, you've got a big angry cabal, kind of like the Brothers strike in Destiny 1, or the Arms Dealer strike in Destiny 2. Essentially, you got this big indestructible cabal. He's got a big cannon gun, flies around a lot. He'll do the jet melee strike, and he'll do a ground slam. So he's got a lot of knockback. He hits real hard. And as he moves around, there's a bunch of other cabal and Vex that spawn in and will try to kill you. You've got snipers up above you got to worry about. You've got Vex harpies with shields, and they're just a bitch to shred down. All the while, there's baby cows. Oh, they're so cute. All the while, you have these lasers that are spawning randomly and will kill you in 2 seconds if you don't move out of them. And so it's a very mobile fight. There's not really a spot that you can stand still and kind of work through it. And so your head has to stay on a swivel, and it's difficult. It's not an easy fight, It reminds me a lot of the end of Destiny 1, where you had to fight that big unkillable ogre and the fallen captain. It's annoying. I understand what they're trying to make me do here, but damn, is it annoying. So I was rolling in solar, hoping, get quick recharge on my grenades and barriers to make it a bit easier. But again, I wasn't getting the recharge rate that I had hoped. So we go through it the first time, and we get to the third phase of the fight, and the guy's just about dead, but I'm trying to really focus on ads, because if you don't burn down the ads, there's just too much fire going on and you'll die. So I'm letting them focus boss. I'll take ads. And out of the corner of my eye, I see he's like a fart away from dying, and then all of a sudden, one guy dies. I die. Third guy dies. We wipe. Like, oh, that fucking sucks. So we go for attempt 2, and pretty much immediately, we get back to third phase. Pretty much immediately, though, the Cabal douche canoe does a ground slam, and I get sent off the map. Then another guy dies, and then the last guy dies, and then the guy with all the trials wins quits. And because it's a nightfall, there's no automatic matchmaking. You have to go find a third person. And I'm looking at the clock like, shit, I have to get ready for work. I have to go. I cannot wait. We are so fucking close. So I messaged the guy real quick. Hey, can you find a third one real quick? And he's like, give me a sec. And I'm switching around my build. Like, okay, clearly solar's not working. We're taking too much fire. I don't see a lot of Titans like when I used to play. I didn't see a lot of Titans running Void and then popping the bubble shield. So let me go back to that, because that's what my primary spec in Destiny 1 was. It worked well enough in Destiny 2. So I go my Void Titan, and I got the Helm of Saint 14, which is a new one, and I had been using it with my solar set just because it looked really cool, but I'm like, you know what? We need to redo this. So I throw a Void mod on there, and then he finds somebody. And we clear the first 2 phases, we move on to the third phase, and he's hammering in on us, and we're staying mobile. We're lining up shots on him. I'm still taking care of ads. And I get an idea. Like, oh, what if? Because the idea behind the Titan bubble is you're nigh unkillable inside of it. And with this Helm of Saint 14, if I pop the bubble, any enemies that walk into it are immediately blinded. So they're not necessarily going to be hitting me. And since I get this overshield, I can just melee every one of them, drop a grenade, whatever. So I pop a few shots off of the boss, pull aggro, he runs over to me, and I plant myself in a corner where there's these really high walls, throw down the bubble, boss walks in, he does his ground slam, it just shoots me back into the wall, but because that's 6 inches behind me, not a problem. I've got my overshield, he's not hurting me. Throw a grenade down in the middle, he just starts taking damage over time. Throw up my barrier. The other thing with barriers, any enemy that walks through it takes damage. A lot of damage. So, because I'm throwing all this damage passively at the boss, he's locked onto me. He's not going anywhere. All his buddies are coming in. And Hunter jumps in and he's like, oh, I figured out what you're doing here. Oh, so we just start mowing down the ads. The boss is losing a ton of health. And just before the bubble drops, I jump out of there, run away, turn around. We pop off a few more shots. Boss dies. Awesome. Collect my loot, turn off the game. Like, I've got 15 minutes to get ready and get the fuck out of here. As it stands, I'm going to be a couple minutes late, but worth it. Added that guy onto my friends list. Played well. Was patient with me, despite me, kind of securing the win at the end. And it made me look differently at the Void class. Like, okay, I like running solar just because you're throwing flaming hammers. It's Thor, but with fire instead of lightning. I really like it a lot. But Void is just so tanky and beefy, and I feel like I'm really helping the team. I'm contributing when I play as that class. Plus, there's my undying love for the Void. So there's other reasons there, but I really like the Sentinel class. So I'm gonna go ahead and I think, because I've been using the Dead Orbit armor set, I think I'm gonna build up a new set that has a visual aesthetic I actually like. like the Devastation Complex. And yeah, just build up an enroll main again on my Void instead of Solar. So there's something for me to do. I'm enjoying the game again. If anybody's listening out there, you've got my usernames, my one username. Shoot me a message on Xbox Live. I'll help you out. But that's going to have to wrap it up. I'll get this posted up. I'll see if I can do it from my phone today. Otherwise, we'll have to wait until tomorrow morning. I'll have it up. Not that it matters, because by the time you get this, it'll already be uploaded, because that's how these things work. But head over to patreon.com/0and09. Pitch in $1 a month. That helps keep things going. A lot of content went up this past week as far as backlogs of videos. And we're going to have a lot of stuff uploaded Friday as well. $1 a month. That's all I ask. If you can't do that, tell your friends. You can get the show wherever. Just tell them. The Unwashed Asses. It's not hard to find. And then, of course, if you want to write the show, we'll read those and have a good two-way conversation. theunwashedasses@gmail.com. Again, theunwashedasses@gmail.com. And until then, we'll see you next Monday.